Hello, it's all working, so I cannot just play the video. I will just look for the, it's okay, I will just wait for the next class and I will do it. Anyway, we're going to talk about population growth and how it impacts in growing, in the use of resources in countries, how can keep in the long run, and how important is the population of a country to as a factor to increase the productivity, okay? Especially for economic growth. That's very important, the structure. We have a population pyramids. The first we're going to go in population growth is like, there is this theory that developing countries increase at a higher rate the population than those ones who are already quite well developed countries. So examples would be most of the African countries in Africa, India, then they increase the population because they have a high birth rate, and on the other hand they have also a high death rate. And then problems in the other side of the spectrum, we have Japan. Japan, where people live very, very, very long. We have this quite safe country. The health infrastructures are quite developed, and also it's quite, I would say yes, quite well educated in terms of health. So then if you add this, in Japan people live very long, but also young people in Japan don't have children because different socio-economic factors. Like, for example, different factors would be the age woman finishes school, because women, they want to stay long in school and they want to have children. Also, it's much more difficult to get a secure job. Many of the jobs are not that flexible, also safe, stable. Some people don't, and it's quite costly to have a child. So when you have a child, it's an investment. You have to wait until you finish high school, university. So in many countries, they have not this mindset. They might have a child, and when he's 16 or 15, he can already be working and be productive and bring money to the family. But in some of the countries, mostly developed country, there is rules and the law tell you a child must go to the school, it's much more a competitive environment, so it's a quite high investment. Anyway, population growth, there are causes, that's very easy. Will be two. One is from inside and one is exogenous one variable. The exogenous one is with an increase in the net immigration. Now, what is net immigration? Net immigration is immigrants minus immigrants. Okay? The second factor will be when birth rate is higher than death rate. That we saw there is more people being born than dying. Okay? And in the book we have an example of Iran. This country, Iran, the ancient Persian Imperium. In Iran they have this birth rate is quite high and death rate as well. But I think all the countries as well. Bangladesh, Nepal, India, some countries in Southeast Asia. We're going to the first factor, net immigration. What is immigrants? Anyone know what is immigrants?
People who came from another country.
Yeah, immigrants, it means in. So people coming in the country, immigrants, people go out. So we have more people coming in than people going out of the country. We have a positive balance. With the net immigration will be positive, less than zero. So if there is more people coming in and not so many people going out, this number will increase. So then the population of the country will grow. That happened in the last 30, 40 years in many European countries. For example, in Spain, we got usually Spain used to be the other way. It used to be a negative number. The Spanish people, though, was the one who went away to work, and no people came to Spain. Then in the 80s, for example, it was very high economic growth in Spain, many companies, and then in the 90s, I think, is when we experienced that this number became positive. So it means that there was no Spanish people going abroad to work as the same as people coming in. So we passed from a situation where Spain was a country we used to send Spanish people to work abroad to earn money, to a country we receive people, which receives people to work in. So that's net immigration. Some countries in Asia, they struggle with this one. For example, Japan, they try to keep the country You know, it's a country that if they is less protective, more people will go to Japan to work. But the government is quite protective regarding labor force, so it does not make it very easy to people coming from abroad to stay in the country. So that's why it's very difficult in countries like Japan, for example, the net immigration will go very high. But on the other hand, that's quite contradictory because it's a country where the people is getting old. There is no young people. The birth rate is very low, and the death rate is very low. When you have birth rate very low and death rate very low, it's a country which changes very fast. The birth rate very low means there are no children being born. One child maybe is the average. And death rate is very low, also the same. So the population keeps. But then the high segment of the population, the older segment, gets to get older and live longer. So now in population, the problem is that there is no young people. There is not enough young people to just push the economy of the country to work. So they are forcing to open the borders to people, young people coming from China, I don't know, Taiwan, Korea, other countries or Europe, to come in and work in Japan. But the government there is a lot of debate about this point and this issue in Japan. You can see there are many documentaries on YouTube about this population problem in Japan. But two factors, net immigration, we're talking about foreigners coming to our country or living, national people living in the country, and this is about people already in the country. These are the two factors: net immigration plus the relation between birth rate and death rate. Okay? So, what happens, for example, if the net immigration increases? The population grows or goes down? Goes up or goes down?
Goes down.
Okay. The population increases or decreases if the net immigration increases?
Increase.
Exactly. So if higher is the net immigration, it means higher population. Okay, there is more people. So population increases. Okay, why is that the relation? Yeah. So let's say that there is 1 year, 2000. Something, okay? There is 200,000 people from different countries coming to Thailand to work. Okay, guys, attention, please. 200,000 people coming to Thailand to work, and then Thai people going to 100,000 Thai people going to, I don't know, to Australia or different countries around Singapore to work. So we have 100,000 Thai people living the country, but on the other hand, we have 200 new people coming in the country. So then this will be positive or negative number? So positive net immigration. So then it will be population growth. The population growth is 100,000 people that year, because more people came in than get out of the country. So if there is next year, there is 500 people coming to Thailand, more people to work and to live here. And then just there is 200 people living in the country, there will be 300. So you see, the important is the immigrant number. So the relation, if the immigrant number keeps going up, that will happen, okay? Birth rate is higher than death rate. The population grows or decreases? Increase. 3 people die, 4 people is born. So there is new 4 people plus 4, let's say. New in this today, in the last 2 hours in Thailand, there is 4 new babies. And then 2 people, 3, let's say 2 people die. Means 2. There is 2 less, no? And there is 4 new people in this world. So it will be plus 2. Right? So population growth. Okay? Easy. That's very easy. But basically these are the factors: immigration, birth rate, death rate. So we're gonna see now this factor, birth rate. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
According to the book, the birth rate depends on several factors. First is age at which women marry. Is it busy? No. Number of women pursuing higher education, going to university or tertiary education. Availability of family planning services, availability of government help, let's say. Guys, are you copying this?
Yes.
You also, guys, okay? And then cost of bringing up children. Okay, all these factors are not numeric factors. They are not so easy to see. Okay? We're going to go one by one, and you're going to explain me. I will ask each one of you, why do you think this one depends on population growth and how? Okay? So birth rate depends on age at which women marry. Okay. Usually, why depends on the age of the woman married.
If they marry at an age, they can have more time.
Very close, well done. Yeah, that's right. So if they marry at a younger age, the birth rate will have a tendency to be higher or lower.
Higher.
Okay. I know in Spain. Before my grandpa times, used to marry at 16, you know, and they have children. I know family have 21 children. 21.
21 children?
Yeah.
Wow.
But five died. 5 died. So it was one child per year since she was 16 until she died almost.
No.
Yeah. 5 died, so. Yeah, and it was my grandmother.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, 31 children. That's very, very old. I never met such a family. Never. That's quite strange. That's too much. There were too many.
Before they also sponsor for people who have a lot of children.
Sorry?
They sponsor for people who have a lot of children.
Yeah, the government used to help a bit at the time. But still, 21 children is way too many. Anyway, so what happens with countries where there is a tendency where women, they have an average age of being married at 33. And then they usually have the first child, average 30, 35. Usually those countries will have a higher birth rate or lower birth rate?
Lower.
Lower? Shopping, what do you think? Lower, why? Okay, if a woman average age to have a baby is 30 years old, she's not gonna have much more babies. Think that a woman usually 30 up to 35 is good age to have children, up to 40. After 40 is quite risky for a woman to have children, you know, in terms of health. So if she starts to have children with 20s, she has more time to give birth to children, to bring up children to this world. But if not, she will maybe won't have one. Like usually women who have the first baby in 30s, they will have just 1 or 2. So the age at which women marry, so those countries where the woman marries very, very young, also there's a tendency, or parallel, you can see a correlation between countries where women married very, very young and also high birth rate. Also, number of women pursuing higher education. If there is a high number in proportion to the population of the country, the proportion of women going to university has a tendency to increase. It would be a country where the population growth will increase or decrease. The birth rate. if we have a huge number, or huge part of the population of women going to the university to study, it will be a tendency to increase the birth rate or decrease in the birth rate. Sorry?
Decrease.
Exactly. If women usually they have tertiary education, after they finish, they will focus on their career and they will postpone them. They will procrastinate to having children. So it will result in an increase in the age at which women marry and then also have babies. Usually you go to study, you finish your studies, you start work, you meet someone, you marry, and then you have children. But if you're a woman and you finish studying at 23, to meet someone and to marry, you may end up having children in 30s. This will happen in the developed world. Why? Because the labor market demands highly specialized, high human capital investment, and people who have very specific skills. It means competition. People have to keep going to school to be better and to be able to work, and to have a better life quality. So it forces people to do that. But there is one exception that you will be astonished in Iceland. In Iceland, universities, they have a kindergarten inside. So it's not rare or bizarre to see a 23, 24 years girl going to university with her child. She's studying university, she's pregnant. You go to university and you see girls pregnant there. Because the government helps a lot, and there is a lot of benefits for having children. The cost of living is not very high, and the living standards are quite high. So it's very easy to bring up a child in Iceland. So you can leave the child inside in the kindergarten, which is inside the university, and they will take care of it. You can go. So there is a lot of facilities for women to have babies. It's not strange in Iceland that the birth rate is quite high, and the mortality rate or the death rate is quite low. What happens is that the population is increasing abruptly. Plus, we have an increase in the net immigration that we saw before. So in Iceland, what is happening? First, many immigrants coming in. Because life quality in Iceland, good salaries, tranquility, calm, quiet country, good health, good education, almost for free. So we have immigrants coming into work. The country is growing, especially because many businesses are showing up, are coming up. So people coming into work. Then we have also government give facilities to women. It's a safe country, education is for free. So it's not so hard to have a baby. It's not so expensive. You can have a baby and still build a career and have a family life since you're very young. So in Iceland, for example, girls prefer to have babies when they are 23, 22, while they are studying. So when they finish their studies, they go to work, maybe develop some career in parallel. They go to study, maybe they finish work, and they have the baby. When they are 35, they already have a job, and their child are like 15 years old, So they can have more a relationship of friend to friend, right? So it happens a lot that you see the mother with the daughter going out party and they bring the children. I remember in Iceland, I was in university, I sit with 3 girls. They were 22 years old. And then suddenly say one of them, "Oh, okay, sorry, I have to leave. See you later, guys. I'm going to pick up my child there." Wow. And the girl was so young, and she was studying economy there. So it's not always the case, because these factors are important, but you have to see the other ones. Okay, number of women pursuing higher education is quite high in Iceland. But on the other hand, in Iceland we have a high availability of family planning services. If you are in Iceland, for example, your husband, you split up or you divorce, the government give you cheap housing, for example. So very low budget housing, or housing which is just reserved for single mothers. And you pay half of the rent. Or the government pay you 50%, or they give you money. The government give you money for having children every month. And then ability, government help. It's more or less the same, right? The cost of bringing up children is not high. Guys, I'm here. The cost of bringing up children. Iceland is a very expensive country. And yes, bringing up children is expensive, but the salaries are high. So relation salary prices, and then you consider external sources of income coming from the state, it's quite supportive in terms of bringing up children. So it's a lot of facilities where you can. So if we want to have a country with high birth rate, in resume, a country with high birth rate would be a country where the age is low. Low age of marriage, lower higher education, so a lower proportion of the people going to higher education, no government services, let's say, okay? And the cost is low. No, high cost, sorry. Okay, how will be a country with a low birth rate? I want that you go one by one and tell me which is the good file. So shopping.
Yeah.
A country with low birth rate. Yes.
Higher. What is lower, higher education?
It's lower age.
No, the other one, the second. Lower, higher.
Okay, lower proportion of people achieving higher education, but I don't want to write everything. So just lower. It would be number one. Yeah, a lower number of women pursuing higher education. So lower. So okay, lower age at which women marry. Okay, high birth rate. Lower number of women pursuing higher education. It will result in a higher birth rate. Okay. If there is no availability from the government to help you, also usually what's gonna have this moment here. Okay, high birth rate. High birth rate, age at which women married will be. We're talking about high, okay? High birth rate will be age at which women marry is low. Okay? The number of women pursuing higher education will be low. Because they don't go to the school, they make children. Let's put it in a simple way, very basic. If there is availability of family planning service, if government helps you, government presence is higher, then birth rate is higher as well. So low, low, high, high. Lower, lower, high, high.
No.
And if the cost of bringing up children is low, the birth rate increases. Okay? So I'm gonna just erase. So the profile of a country with a high birth rate will be a country where women marry young, where a country where women marry young, where infant mortality is high, girl education is poor. Nice. It's you. Girl education is poor. We're bringing up children is cheap. Cheap. How you have a country and result is high birth rate. here it is. Women marry young, you have more children. Infant mortality is high because there are not good health services, good health premises to have healthcare. Then children have a tendency to die. The care education is quite good. So also, women, they don't usually manage to enter into tertiary education, universities, high school. So they finish the school when they are in their 13, 14, 15, even younger, they start working. And because they start working, also bringing up children is cheap. Why? If you have a child in Norway, a salary in Norway is 5,000, let's say average. I saw $5,000 per month. So if you have children, you are saying goodbye. The cost of opportunity of having a baby is $5,000 that you are not earning. So it's quite expensive. In terms of cost opportunity, because you refuse to work when you can earn $5,000 per month in order to bring up your child. So it's quite costly. Besides, when you have a child and the child is 13, 14 years old, and it doesn't finish here, he has to go secondary school, tertiary school, and this child is going to finish his studies when he's in his 20s, and then in his 20s or her 20s, he will enter the labor market. So this investment you have to pay for the studies, maybe with some subsidized partly by the government. But it's not the same in other countries where there is no minimum age, to quit the studies. In some countries, in Philippines, when they are 15 years old, 14, 16, the children are not studying anymore, they are just trying to get money. So the cost is very low because you have to just give them some food up to they are 13, 14, and then they can start work and bring up this money to home. Do you understand that? Yes. So you have children and you put them to work when they are in their 15, 16 years old. And with that money, they come to the family with their salaries and they support the mother and the father. So really it's like an investment short term. But when you are in a developed country, probably your children will start working with 20s and they are not going to live with you, they will go away and they're not going to bring you back money. There is no money. You have a child and it's not economically an investment, in the rich country. It's something you do.
Usually also is the birth of babies.
Infant mortality, yeah. Babies. Infant mortality is babies.
Why is it high?
Well, if there is a correlation, it doesn't mean there is causality, right? But if you go some countries where the medical conditions are not well, there is a lot of hospitals. It's very expensive just for a determined group of the population, but the vast majority of the people, they are renegade, they are just composed to, they don't have access to general medical health care. Well, the conditions are wrong. There is a high chances that when you give birth, the child will die by negligent, bad practices or sanity or a lack of hygienic habits. Many causes. You don't have the equipment, you don't have the people, you don't have prepared people, so it's difficult. If you live in the countryside in the middle of Bangladesh, a woman, which is a woman who can take there is no doctors and hospital. So there is a high mortality, high chances that the newborn child will die in the first days of life because anything, probably hygienic problems, but they don't have medical equipment in cases of difficulty. For example, some women, they have to be open here, to extract the child because they cannot get out. So if you don't live in a place where there is a good hospital, there is high chances the child will die. So what they happen is, even if there is a high chances of children dying, they keep going, making more children. So there is a high death rate. Because there is high chances that if I have 5 children, 3 of them die, I will try to do 7. So if 3 or 4 die, at least I have 2 left. Right? So this is happening in poor countries. They have many babies, but not all of them they will reach the adult age. Some of them they will die early when they almost after dying. But luckily, or I will say gladly, all these practices, or this is just increasing everywhere in the world. Even in the poor countries, the infant mortality is going down abruptly. So there's many people coming out of the poverty, more people in the world having access to basic healthcare necessities, education, and all that. Which is quite good, positive thing to know. So that will be the profile of a country where there is a high death rate. So now we're going to go with the death rate, okay? Death rate and factors. We have seen the factors, death rate. Depends on. So death rate, we talk about people dying. Very easy. Nutrition. Housing facilities or conditions. Medical care, obviously. Lifestyle. Working conditions. And a bunch of all the different stuff, the factors we'll consider when we talk. Death rate depends on nutrition, housing conditions, medical care, lifestyle, working conditions. All these factors will have an impact on lifespan in a country, or the tendency and how long people will live. So if we have a country with high death rate, it probably will be a country with good nutrition or bad nutrition. Bad nutrition. It's difficult to get food, and the food is quite expensive, and it's not for everyone. Or maybe they have a very poor diet, which is very difficult. Your immunity system is quite weak, because it's difficult to access the most basic foods, which will provide you good nutrition to keep alive. So bad nutrition. Especially there is a study now that they say if you don't have a good nutrition when you're a child, it will even impact your life expectancy much later. So if when you're a child you are not well fed up by your family, it may have consequences, in the long run, in how long you may expect to live. Housing conditions. Proportion of the people which is able to have a roof to sleep. If there is a country where the government doesn't help, or there is a huge proportion of the population lives in poverty conditions with under $1 per day, so you see many people living in the streets, that wouldn't live long, Medical care. What I told you about Bangladesh and India, if you don't have a country with good medical hospitals, people which is qualified, and which is very important, accessible for everyone, or a huge part of the population, because if it's just 10% of the population who can have access to a hospital, to have babies, then it will have a bad impact on people's death rate. In the death rate. The same for death rate. If there is available for everyone, for example, in Spain, medical care is universal. So everyone can go to the hospital and get medicine and treat a cancer for free almost. That's very good for death rate. That's why in Spain, the lifespan is, I think we are the third in the world. Like Iceland, I'm talking about men, no women. About men lifespan, I think first is Iceland, then Japan, and then Spain. And if it's not Spain, it's one of the first 5 or 6. Why? Usually it's medical care. So many people access, so the average age people is dying is much higher. Lifestyle. This is about information and being educated. If you live in a country where you are not educated, probably about what you eat, people will live in good conditions. Guys, lifestyle is about Aaron, Peter, you girls going to the internet and have access to information. This lifestyle has not very much weight because everywhere in the world, even if you are in a poor country, you can still know what is good for your lifestyle. You know that if you practice sport, it's good for you. If you take a shower and you clean yourself, sanity habits is good for you. It's going to have an impact in your expectancy. All these conditions is about lifespan. How they impact the lifespan or the life expectancy. So if there is good nutrition in the country, good housing conditions, good medical care, almost universal, Lifestyle means people know or they practice sport, they don't eat junk food very much or too much. I don't know, they take care of their body, and especially they eat good food, they will live long, they have a tendency. And working conditions. Also, you live in a country where the government or labor or trade unions, somehow, there is some law which protects labor force security. The workers can go to work and there is special conditions if you work in construction, or if you work in a mine, or if you work in a fishery, to keep safe the person, So all this will have a positive impact death rate. If you live in a country with malnutrition, no houses for everyone, very difficult to find good hospitals, not everyone can afford to go to the hospital because it's expensive, so you die, or a lifestyle, people just eat whatever. For example, you go here, for example, what I see in many countries in Asia is like they are not very aware about health. When they go to work, for example, when you go to soup, you put like 5 spoons, 6 spoons of sugar. Everyone knows that sugar is not good if you just do like this, or too much salt, or you use like an oil which has been used 100 times before your dish has been used. So they fry with the same oil. All these things is just information you need to know in order to keep your body healthy. And working conditions also, for example, when you go to some places and you see that a guy is trying to make some break and they have no protection, they can just fall from the sky. They don't have any cranes or any tables that will keep them in the air. All these will have an impact. Okay, I think that will be all for today. So we have seen population growth, death rate, the impacts of them. Net immigration. Actually, we have been the two main factors. Just a resume, okay? This is very good for you. Population growth depends on immigrants, birth rate, and death rate. Then we take birth rate and we show birth rate depends on all these factors. Death rate depends on all of these. And from this, you can just describe if a country is growing in population or not. You can see which countries are good. So for example, Europe, Japan, North America, we have a problem. You go in Spain, old people everywhere. You see in France, old people. You don't see young people. You go Egypt on the street, everyone is 15 years old. You see children like, wow, hey. And then you don't see old people. You see just children all everywhere, just running around you. So this is a country with high population. That's all for today, and we will continue tomorrow with population growth. Thank you for coming and enjoy.